It's a very sad day for Illinois. It's a very unfortunate situation. I've heard a little bit in the press and read a few of the articles about what's going on. It's a very sad day in Illinois. And that's all I can really say right now about it. It's a very unfortunate situation.
He was elected to serve the people at the tender age of 27, riding high as the first real millennial elected to Congress. And in 3+ terms in Congress, Aaron Schock sponsored a total of 0 bills that became law. There is perhaps no better poster child for pulling the wool over an electorate's eyes than now former Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock. And whomever takes over that seat inside the Beltway has to spend a lot of time proving to voters that he or she can be trusted. And trust is in short supply these days in D.C. And it's a good reason why when you consider what happened with Congressman Schock. And I quote from the Washington Post, if you will, reporting about his Downton Abbey office. The designer did the work pro bono. The liberal watchdog group said this was an inappropriate gift. And Schock had to pay $40,000 for this replica, if you will, out of his own personal finances. He also had to repay taxpayers $1,200 for a private flight that he took to a Chicago Bears game. But that really wasn't the issue here that brought down Aaron Schock. He was getting a tremendous amount of questions about billing the government. And again, remember the numbers here. There's truth always in the numbers. Billing the government for 170,000 miles on his private car between 2010 and 2014. Despite the fact that when he sold the car, remember, 170,000 miles. And when he sold the car had 80,000 miles on it. So once again, here we come down to an issue where the American citizens themselves, whether it's Illinois, Massachusetts, Florida, California, whatever, these are the people who want to actually vote for somebody, and they want to vote for somebody who won't lie to them on any basis, whether it's occasional or every single minute. What about taking a job now? Let's welcome to MidPoint one who has confidence he can do the job and deliver the goods. He is political editor for the conservative website Brietbart.com and one who has spent his adult life covering and working in politics. My God, we have to feel sorry for this man. Mike Flynn joins us today from D.C. Mike, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Mike,
a lot of that was in Illinois, too, so you really should feel sorry for me.
I was going to say, because if you're going to be in Illinois, you may as well go ahead and really start from where it all begins and all the really good, juicy stuff. But seriously, Mike, you got a good job. You're well respected. Why would you want to become an elected official?
It's a very good question. You know, my family's lived in this district for 150 years, and I grew up there. And I've seen, though, over the years that despite the strong conservative bent of this district and the voters there, the Republicans keep putting up these moderate to liberal Republicans that don't represent the district. And we've got a real opportunity here to take conservative leadership in this district, and that's what I'm looking to do. And what it gets to one of those points you look around and no one else is willing to do it. So I think it's time for me to answer that call.
How do you engender trust, though, Mike? Because let's face it, first of all, in our business in journalism, people don't trust us a lot of times. And then you're talking about politicians, which could be the people that really don't trust them. So how do you get that back, especially in the wake of what Aaron Schock did?
Well, I mean, I think you have to be straight with the voters. You have to be honest with them. I mean, to a large degree, I'm a very open book. I mean, I probably have thousands of column inches of opinion and analysis and news that I've reported over the years. I live out in the public sphere. So what I say can easily be verified by what I do. And I promise the voters there that when I tell them I'm going to fight for conservative values in Washington, that's what I'm going to do. As you said, I don't need this. I never looked to have a job in Congress, but I'm tired of supporting Republicans especially, who promise on the campaign trail to be conservatives, then they get to Washington and they fall into the D.C. insider corruption here.
But won't you then become one of the D.C. insiders sooner or later, though, Mike? If you get inside D.C., you get inside the Beltway, you're eventually going to become an insider. So how do you stop that disease from seeping into your soul?
Well, you know, I'm not new. I'm not new to this town. I've lived in this town for many years. I follow politics a long time. I'm pretty confident in my moral compass. I'm pretty confident in my ethical compass. My values and my principles have been constant my whole life. I certainly hope I have family and kids that will keep me straight in case I start to stray. But then it's ultimately the voters. And if I ever show a sign that I'm falling into the D.C. insider crowd, I hope that they will kick me out.
Do they need somebody like you, especially in light of the fact that State Senator Darren LaHood immediately announced his candidacy to replace him? And I can imagine that certainly you have been flooded with phone calls once Darren LaHood said he wanted to get in the race.
Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate. Darren LaHood, they haven't even called a special election yet, and he's already filed papers to run. That strikes me as a little overly eager to be in Congress. As the son of an Obama cabinet secretary, I'm not sure that's the best representation for such a Republican conservative district. I'll let him answer to his record. But yes, there are a lot of voters in that district, a lot of leaders in that district who think we can certainly do better than just a retread and a family hand-me-down, somebody to represent our views.
Isn't it fair to say that what Aaron Schock did, and of course, when you look at a lot of the evidence, is reprehensible for somebody as an elected official to do this? But whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, you have no political affiliation whatsoever, wouldn't you agree that people like this, they have got to be kicked out of the system just as quickly and swiftly as possible?
Absolutely, and that is, it really goes to the heart of what happens here sometimes in D.C. is that you've got this insider political class. I mean, you mentioned Darren LaHood. He's a state senator now. He ran for state's attorney. He was appointed by Bush to a U.S. attorney position. He lives in the political world, and what happens is they become entitled. They feel the rules don't apply to them. And that's what you saw with Aaron Schock. He thought he could get away with this because he was entitled to it, and that's what we have to stop. And we can't just look with frustration at these people and say, they shouldn't do that. I wish we shouldn't do it. It's incumbent upon us as the people and the voters to rise up and say no more, and we're going to kick you out if you do this.
Okay, I only got about 30 seconds left. I know you're going to have to raise a lot of money, maybe $500,000 or more, so let's get right down to it. Are you running, yes or no?
I'm very close to deciding that.
Okay.
You will be the first person I call.
Okay, first, now, I have that on complete guarantee from you. I will be the first person. I will not read about it. I will not see it on Brietbart.com. You will call us and tell us. And as a politician, you got to say, and you got to mean what you say.
I mean what I say.
All right. Mike, I'm going to hold you to that now because as a good journalist, I know exactly where you're coming from on this. And again,
I've made my first campaign promise.
There you know something? Right here on Midpoint, you did indeed, and we're going to hold you to that one. Mike, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Good luck. I will look forward to getting that phone call.
Thanks very much.
All right, pleasure. Take care.
Yeah, absolutely.
5 years later, when Obamacare is just as controversial as ever, will it live to see another year? That continues to be the question on its 5th year anniversary. Midpoint will continue.